Welcome everybody to this next episode of the Texture Pop.
The Texture Pop interactive friction. The texture friction.
Yeah,
The friction pop.
pop off.
Yeah. Okay, so we made
Once again,
So funny fact, we made a joke about the Rocky Out leader looking like everyone else between recordings, and he does look like everyone else.
yeah, he looks like generic McBlandface.
It's like they took one of the character models for one of the Rocky Out guys and said, "Yep, this one's the leader now." He's gonna have a voice. Hold on, I wanna. Oh shit. Place the explosive in the truck.
Just to be safe, I am, of course, Brandon Lee Carey.
He's
Joining
safe.
me is Rocky Out face noticer Samuel Callahan.
I'm never safe, unlike Brandon. See?
None of you are safe.
Oh, Earnhardt's calling me. Hey, what's up?
I'm kind of busy. What's up?
You might want to get away from the
Whoa.
blows.
I don't remember it looking like this last time.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this mission. This is the part where you're supposed to
Oh,
snipe the
yeah.
shit out of all the people when they come in.
A good thing I don't have a
There's a little
sniper rifle.
There's a sniper nest up there you can use.
Yeah, it's there.
Shame you don't have a sniper rifle to actually use.
There's probably one up there.
Probably, but I mean, you have a grenade launcher, so you might as well.
Yeah. Grenade there we go. I think that's actually where it is. Like, every time
It's
Lisa
on
and
the water
Jason...
tower. Yeah.
Every time Lisa and Jason talk, I'm like, there is such... Wow! Fucking what? It just said, you didn't reach the
Did
time.
not reach... Oh, you have to go with the water tower.
I thought that was like a suggestion.
Oh my god!
This game is amazing.
So, what's this about Lisa?
Right, so I was gonna say, like, you know, I think we mentioned this before, but, like, every time Lisa and Jason talk, I keep thinking there's such potential in what they could be talking about. But it always boils down to, I am the voice of reason, no, fuck you. Like, there is no deeper
You know what?
anything going
Lisa's
on.
voice actor and her character aren't even that bad.
Yeah! It's just really weird when it's like they talk and it's like they have such potential to, like, you know, Jason could confide in Lisa about how he feels he's turning into a monster, but instead it's just like, I don't know, he's fucking crazy. Whatever.
Or maybe he could talk to her about how much he's enjoying this.
Yeah,
Something! Fucking anything!
He could be like, either he could say, I'm getting really afraid that I'm enjoying this a lot, or he could say, I'm really into this, and either way, she could be like, you should be worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could do fucking anything. Like,
Oh god, there's wasted potential.
God, so much pretentious shit in this. Oh, we have some deep meaning. No, we don't.
Like,
Not really.
I guess what's funny is that it's so pretentious, and yet it's like, it doesn't do anything, any of the good stuff pretentious stuff does, which is like deep intellectual commentary. It just pretends
like-
it has deep intellectual commentary without actually
That's the
saying
definition
anything.
of pretentious.
Yeah, true. It's just like, god
Like,
damn
you
it.
have so much you could do, and you just don't do any of it.
I should also point out this is the first time we see Void's people, the PMC guys.
Oh, right. The PMC guys that effectively don't really do anything different from the pirates, but they give you more experience.
Yep. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I don't think the AI routines are any different. I don't think they're any better guns
They
necessarily.
felt like I was fighting the exact same people.
Which is a shame because, you know, there could have been a real opportunity to have them act as a squad and actually...
Yeah.
Because, you know, pirates wouldn't know how to act
Like,
together.
have the disparate pirates who are all acting under out of their own self-interest versus the coordinated assault of the PMC
Yeah.
Corporation.
And, you know, I probably mentioned that just because recently I've been watching some guys play Metal Gear Solid 2, and I learned about how apparently when that game was being developed, Kojima had, like, real military people come in and advise how different squads would move in that game.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh,
it's been
remember-
done back in the PS2 era.
I also want to point out that this Pillar Military Corporation is secretly evil.
Of course. Has there ever been a story that I can even think of where Military Corporation was good, or private one? I think the only one I can think of is Arma.
I can't even think of a scenario in the real life where...
Yeah. Like I said, the only one that comes to mind is the Arma series has an expansion called Private Military Corporation, and that's just very basic, no story. Just kind of like, yep, we just do contracts. Like, that's it. Like, there's nothing particular about it.
I mean, there's something inherently scummy about killing people for money.
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
I mean, I understand that
maybe
killing
mercenaries
isn't
the mercenaries from the game mercenaries could be considered good people.
Or
I don't
probably
know.
closer to neutral.
Yeah. And 2, they're probably more assholes because they want to kill the guy just because of money, and it just happens to be a bad guy anyway.
Yeah.
I just don't...
I mean, like, just the whole profession of, like, being a professional soldier who's paid just not by a country but by some man.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that, as I said many times with this game before, and, you know, across social media and such, there's potential. There's a lot of
Yeah.
potential for a good paramilitary corporation story where they don't turn evil. Like, there's a lot of, you know, different ideas you could go down about them being good and the countries being bad. So it's like people
Or-
working for money ultimately devote.
Or these people not
morals.
being total shit, but they're working for a drug lord, so they do shitty things.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of depth to be had in there, but they always, like even Advanced Warfare, a very recent title, goes down that route because I don't think I'm spoiling anything when I say, hey, guess what? The paramilitary corporation is evil in that game. So it's just kind of those things of like, of
I
course
always
they are.
knew Kevin Spacey would betray us one day.
Yep, we all knew that. God damn it, man! Just what a
I
disappointment.
mean, I get why they didn't do it in this game, because this game really isn't about the organization at all whatsoever. It's about Jason, so I get why they wouldn't do that here.
But
I
again,
mean,
it's like if you're,
There's something they could do.
like they could have done anything to try to make it like it's one of those things with Far Cry 3 where it's like make me feel for the enemies, if not the pirates, make me feel for the paramilitary guys. Like, you know, why am I killing them? Maybe they're real people. Instead, they're just reskin pirates.
Oh, here is the trailer speech.
Oh,
The definition of insanity.
It's kind of the best part of the entire game
Yeah.
Shit could change.
because it has Voss in it.
That is crazy.
This is the game just blowing its load
First time somebody told me that.
right now.
I'm shitting me, so
I'm just gonna be
Because-
quiet for this part because I'm enjoying this.
thing is, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked. Everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking, this time it's gonna be different. No, please. This time it's gonna be different. I'm sorry. I don't like the way you are looking. Okay? You have a fucking problem in your head. You think I'm bullshitting you? Do you think I'm lying? Fuck you! Okay? Fuck you! It's okay, man.
I would just like to point out that this scene is actually pretty well done for multiple reasons. You know, first of all,
Yeah.
being Voss, but one of the interesting things is actually the background effects going on, with a couple of pirates just kind of playing around with somebody as if he was a toy, and yet they never distinctly acknowledge, like, hey, look at that guy who pushed that dude off the cliff. It's just going on in the background. It adds character to what the pirates are and what their thinking is, and how they treat people. Like, it's
Yeah,
one of
not
the
to
better
mention-
ideas of, like, background characters.
Like, this team pretty much entirely summarizes what Voss does and what he stands for in this world.
Yeah. But I just thought it was worth pointing out when I was watching that go on in the background. I was like, this is one of the better background elements of the game.
He'll be like, you know what? It's crazy when I kill you over and over again, but you know what? I don't want to do it anyway.
There we go.
Button mashy quick time events. Don't you love them?
There we go. Yeah. That was...
Yeah, I mean, enjoy that scene because it's pretty much one of the last. Like, this is like almost the swan song of Voss.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all downhill from here,
Not,
basically.
I mean, it's not quite because we do have a couple more scenes with him, but it's like this is the part where they are starting to phase out Voss in favor of Hoyt.
Yeah. I would also
It's
argue
the beginning
that,
of it. It's the beginning of his end.
I would also argue that that's like one of the best, if not the best scene with Voss. The best actually might be the first scene in the entire game.
Yeah.
As far as setup
I mean,
goes.
that is the scene that they basically led on in the trailers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
It's
very,
interesting
it's
to
a
note
very good
how
scene.
different the graphics are in the trailers compared to they are in the game.
I never noticed. It's like a Watch Dogs kind of thing.
It's noticeable. If you like put them side by side, you will easily tell the difference. Or if you just watch one after the other.
Might have to go look at that.
Like the Voss and the trailers is definitely noticeably higher res.
Huh. So I guess Ubisoft is pulling some Watch Dogs bullshit long before Watch Dogs ever happened.
Yeah, we just didn't notice at the time.
Yeah. Although if that's a trailer, you know, that's actually been done before. Like, that wouldn't be the first time we've seen higher res trailers. The thing with Watch Dogs was that it was supposed to be gameplay.
It was an in-game demo, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to get real technical.
Or a vertical slice, as they call them.
Oh, yes. I'm not entirely sure it's a vertical slice, because vertical slice is usually... Well, yes, actually. Because it is basically showing every aspect of the game in one small segment. So that would be correct.
And now we got to the point where even that phrase has become taboo because it's so meaningless.
Yep. Running out of words, man. Need to make new words.
They need to actually stop using the old words and making them shit by doing shitty things.
By ruining all these precious words.
Remember when DLC was not a bad thing?
Yeah. It was funny. I was rewatching some old Giant Bomb video where they were playing Burnout Paradise and talking about how that was before the season pass and how it was one of the first big DLC plans for a game, back when DLC was considered a really cool thing to have. It was like, oh man, this game has downloadable content, you can actually keep playing it after it comes out. Now it's like, oh, this game has downloadable content, it's total trash.
Like, because a lot of people like me will equate downloadable content to, you already planned to milk me before I even bought the fucking game. What the hell?
Yeah. I feel like every other sentence I'm going to reference something else I read or saw, but this reminds me of an article I read today by Rami Ismail. I'm sure you're familiar with him. He's the guy from Vlambeer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a great post about the state of the industry, and he kind of made a point about that, where he talked about like Kickstarter and Early Access and how they were once great services, but few bad projects. But he's like, a few bad projects will ruin the whole thing. And he's like, yeah, because a few bad Early Access games come out, people won't buy his Early Access game anymore.
A few bad apples will spoil the proverbial bunch.
Yep. It's a shame. And it's kind of funny because I saw that and I thought about that too, and it's like, yeah, I used to buy Early Access and I thought it was super cool, but then, you know, of all the games I bought, half of them didn't get updated.
I mean,
or
like,
total crap.
if you watch Jim Sterling's YouTube channel, like, every day he'll play something that's just on Steam, and they'll often be Early Access games. You'll find just deplorable how they decided to release that even as a beta.
Yeah, do you remember that game Dragon that recently came on Early Access? And how it was nothing? Like, there was no goals, there was no objectives, you could just fly around. That was the whole thing.
What?
It was a sandbox.
What the shit?
Jim Sterling did a video on it. That's why I asked if you saw it.
I'll need to catch up on his videos, but man, that was
the whole thing. Was just, you're a dragon, here's this landscape, and like, you know, some of the stuff was like, oh, we're gonna put in enemies. It's like, oh, there's not even anything to it.
You're gonna put in enemies. You made the game personable without putting in enemies.
Yep. Which is the thing, what I found funny is that was like literally days before Steam released those new guidelines for Early Access, and I was like, I wonder if that was one of those games that caused people to just teeter over the edge and go, fuck this. It's just like, when you see stuff like, because, you know, like, in Rami's defense, I bought Nuclear Throne, and it's a game, you know, back when I bought it months ago, like, you could totally play it, it's just there wasn't many characters, but it was totally playable. So it's kind of funny when you see stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, that just ruins it for everybody, because, you know, you just immediately assume Early Access is just a piece of garbage.
Yeah, because it should be, in theory, like, you have a game that's in a playable, or at least semi-playable state.
Yeah, like, when I first saw Early Access...
observe, like, what you can at least see what kind of potential it might have.
Like, my first idea of Early Access was that, like, it's basically a game that's done but needs more content. Which isn't what most developers go for, and to be fair, most of them want the idea of a game that is partially playable to the point where you can change shit up, which is fine. But then they took that so far as to say, here's an idea, like, here's a concept. Why am I pointing the... Why am I playing a light gun shooter? What the fuck?
I don't get the point of this section.
I wonder if that was intentionally to make it so you couldn't hit him. Anyway, Early Access. I got an article to write about that soon. Based on the Early Access games I purchased. Because I bought Nuclear Throne, I bought Overgrowth, and there's like 2 or 3 others. I don't remember what they were anymore because... And that's like the bigger problem with Early Access. It's like, I forgot the games that I bought, and by the time they come out, it's like, oh right, that thing I played like a year ago. Like, you just don't care.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, that's another problem with Early Access, is that it's just like, when the game is released, it's like it's already been out this whole time anyway, so I guess that's a thing that happened.
Like, it seems like a bad business strategy to me.
It kind of is.
At least
So
my understanding...
you're blowing your load too early.
The definition of insanity.
I think like once before? Maybe twice? Alright, and that's the end of Far Cry 3. Thanks for watching, everybody. That would be so fucking great if it just rolled credits.
That's what it should have happened.
Uh...
After saving your friends, you go into a murderous rage and die because that's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah! Like, what a great... I wonder if, like, somebody who was playtesting the game or something like that was like, oh, great ending, and they were like, that's not the end. It's like, what? Like, he doesn't succumb to his murderous rage and ultimately die for it?
That
Like,
would have
no,
been actually a really good ending.
Yeah! It's like the problem I had with Shadow of Mordor, where it's like revenge solves nothing.
Or it's like the problem with Bioshock 1 where you have this major scene with Andrew Ryan and, like, you should have ended the game at that because everything after that is complete crap.
Yeah, God, man. How many games I could possibly think of where it's like, if you could have just ended it here, it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Doesn't help that this scene actually, like,
'Cause,
on a technical level looks very bad.
You know who Mumbles is, right?
Yeah.
She, during the Bioshock season, spoiler warning, she was talking about how, because she had it spoiled for her, the Andrew Ryan reveal, and she had thought the game ended there. And she was completely okay with that.
Yeah, makes sense. But no.
But then she saw this whole part of the game. She was actually somewhat disappointed by the fact that the game didn't end at that point.
Yeah. You know, I've said
games...
this before with Homefront, but this whole climbing out of dead bodies scene is not really done well unless your graphics are fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I look at that and it doesn't look gross to me.
It doesn't look like doesn't look like it should take that much effort to crawl out of.
Yeah, it also looks like there's like 2 people on top of him when it looked like he crawled out of like 10 feet of bodies.
How is this possible? You are not dead.
Luck favors you, my friend. Who's responsible for this?
It's like, those look like such terrible models. Like, could you not get higher res models so it doesn't look so fucked up? Like, you could see the neck seam.
Yes.
It's like, come on! At least try!
Tell Citra I'm coming.
Gotta get my stuff back from those pirates.
I don't know what time we've got, but I think we should finish this mission and call it.
We're at 17.5 minutes.
Alright, cool. It's got plenty of time then. So yeah, I think
People
we
making cameos in our episode. Look in the bottom right corner of the screen.
Wait, what?
People are playing Steam games now, and I can see them on your friends list.
I did notice that. Whoops. Sorry, Steam friends. Gonna be harassed forever now because of me. So, I'm gonna add this to the list of missed opportunities. More missions where they take away certain weapons to force you to play in certain ways.
Like, this would have, if they just designed this around better stealthing it, that would have been really cool.
But instead it's like, I just threw this, and then I can just melee the rest of these guys.
Yeah, like...
I can't seem to find... Well, that could have gone better. I was trying to pick up his weapon.
Yeah, you see, the problem with doing this is that this is a really... This was probably supposed to be a stealth section that you don't have any weapons, but it's a really poorly designed one, because you'll like stealth 3 people at the most before they find you.
Yeah, also I don't have my camera, so... It kind of takes away...
You have your knife, though.
Yeah, which is weird. I have my tribal knife. I guess, like, taking away the camera makes sense from, like, a story standpoint, but it breaks one of the critical stealth things, which is in order to make stealth fun, you have to give the player some kind of advantage.
Some kind of way to track enemies.
Yeah. Well, not even track enemies, but,
Or at least,
like, you know,
some way to figure out where they are without
like, at least
seeing them.
Like, the idea of stealth to me is, like, you're supposed... You know, stealth is fun because you put yourself at a disadvantage by, you know, killing people in certain ways, but you also have to have some kind of advantage over the enemies, which is usually in the form of tracking.
Yeah, in like not necessarily tracking. Like in the original Thief games, you would be able to figure out where enemies are just by the sound of their footsteps.
Yeah, I miss when that was a thing.
They had really good sound design in that aspect because there was no music in the background, so you could feel free to hear everything.
Yeah, before these sick tracks. There's the dog coming up. There's a flare gun. Again, would have been a cool setup if it's like, alright, here's this flare gun, just go nuts. I think in general I want more games like that, though, where it's just like, hey, you...
That deliberately limit your arsenal at certain points.
Yeah, that'd be a really interesting, like, challenge-based game, like arcade
Oh,
style.
if only we had Heavy Takedown right now.
I don't know where it is on this list either. So I don't
It's
know.
in the Shark, I think.
Is that it? Yeah, okay. Heavy beatdown, so we need to get grenade takedown. I wish I'd known that beforehand. I would have... So now we need 2 points.
We'll get them.
I
That's
decided
not
to
a-
get-
That's not a...
I decided to get less fall damage. Well, that worked out real well. I also set the building on fire. Okay, so who has a gun around here? Anybody? Anybody?
Don't you have C4 right now?
Oh, shit, do I? Yeah, I do. Okay.
Wouldn't that make this a little easier?
Yeah, I just need to make them look a different way. Alright, now he's on fire. C4, where are you? Where are you, heavy guy? Wait, did
Oh
I
yeah,
kill him?
like
Whoa, I
that
killed him!
A definition of insanity speech is the high point of the Far Cry 3 story.
It's all
here,
downhill
it's
from here,
pretty much
folks.
all downhill.
It's all downhill from here. Just bringing out that 90s rock for you. Alright, it says retrieve equipment. The equipment is in this refrigerator. Hey! Well, I just dropped that gun, fuck it. Incoming call from Dennis Rogers. Hey, Dennis! How you doing?
Well, yeah, like that's the heavy assault weapon that the heavy guys get.
Yeah,
so
it's
once
the
you pick up
PKG.
another weapon, you can't.
One at a time.
No, it's not that. It's a
It-
PKG, but he said picked up all my equipment. He just drops everything. I know what weapon the heavies carry.
You got 2 skill
Who's
points.
that saying?
How convenient. That is exactly how many you need for the heavy beatdown.
Oh, but what if we just got deep breath, though? How important is that?
Not as important.
That's heavy beatdown. Yep. Ah, more missions! Fuck it, I'm gonna save it in case it's like 1 mission away. I'm gonna save it until I'm sure.
Oh,
I
you...
did it.
No way. It is like really close.
I want to say
'Cause
it's
one-
like when you unlock the second island or right before that or something.
Yeah, when we start exploring the second island, which is probably just like right after the scene,
Yeah. Well, you mean after I climbed this fucking sick radio tower?
and that we're probably gonna call it after this.
It's fucking radio towers. I gotta do them though. I gotta.
The Tower of Power, man.
Sorry, scratch my nose.
You got a gold
this way.
chain from that fucker.
Because you know pirates wear fucking gold chains around.
They would though.
Yeah, if anybody
They
would.
would.
Them and Flava Flav. It's the only people.
Well, Flavor Flav is a golden clock.
Yeah, he has golden teeth too, doesn't he? Or is it like silver? I don't
I
know.
believe so.
He was a 90s thing, wasn't he? Is he alive? Did he die from like a
Check that shitty reality show.
Yeah, I remember watching that. It was
Oh,
pretty
you
shitty.
actually watched that?
I did. It was pretty bad.
That was the start of those shitty of love shows. I just saw clips of them on the soup. I never actually watched an episode of any of them.
It's about as bad as you imagine.
Imagine.
Also, just like speaking of Dying Light, I love that when you do the equivalent of unlocking radio towers, which is getting like safe houses, you go up to like a circuit breaker and you just go flip, 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 turn, flip, and I'm like, it is so fucking Far Cry.
I just realized we ended this episode on talking about Flavor Flav.
That's the only way to end it, really. It's the only way.
That's horrible.
As I
Good
look
night,
out,
guys.
as I look out onto the ocean, I shall think about Flavor Flav and his terrible reality show, and then I shall jump off this cliff and kill myself.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.